Hello, this is Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Welcome home.
Soar into tower. We are ready for takeoff.
Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey, it's Amy from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey Clubbers, it's Scott from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, it's Kathleen from DVC Clubhouse.
Welcome aboard. It's Phil from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Debrief Podcast brought to you by DVC Clubhouse. This is Amy, and I'm joined, as always, by Phil, Scott, and Kathleen. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome aboard, guys.
Scott, I can't see you again. You're like totally out of the frame. Oh, hello.
I did not like
I can fix that. Hold on.
Thank you, Phil. I didn't like my intro.
Why?
I feel like I'm like one word away from like the guy from the Goonies. Like, hi you guys.
Hey, you guys.
Right? Thank you.
I love that movie. That movie is so good.
Me too.
I love it.
I always
What's up, guys?
whenever I'm on Pirates, like sometimes I think about Goonies, you know? When you go in that scene where you're going past the pirate ship, that's that's very Goonies-esque. Or maybe Goonies drew their inspiration from Pirates.
Maybe.
Hello? Hold on one second.
Hello?
Allie, I'm doing a podcast.
That's staying in.
Yeah, special
That
guest.
That's my almost 21-year-old daughter who just came back from getting an oil change for the first time in her life. So I'm sure she was probably coming back to tell me. Yeah, she's adulting. She's not too happy with the price tag.
Welcome to adulthood.
But, yes, exactly. The price tag on adulthood, do not recommend. 0 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, next time make her pay for a Disney trip. See how she feels about that.
Well, I know, but she was complaining. I was like, well, at least we don't make you pay for your car insurance because our premiums just went up. So be happy that you're only paying for an oil change and an engine filter.
Yeah.
All right, so we are back at it again, people. What are we talking about today?
So I thought that we could talk about our must-dos at Magic Kingdom. You know, Magic Kingdom is, arguably has the most to do at any of the parks. And everyone has their tried and trues, the things that they love. We've discussed some of our favorites. But like beyond just the favorites, what are the things that you have to do, that you love to do, the things that you hit up when you are visiting Magic Kingdom? And they don't have to be, it could be anything from a restaurant to something that you like to eat. Like, what are the things that when you think about Magic Kingdom, you think are definitely going to be a part of your day?
You want to go?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, Kathleen made it very clear she was not going first.
She did, and I totally just tried to throw you under the bus right there.
Nope.
You sure you don't want to go?
Yeah.
It's ladies first.
You want me to lead it off? I never lead it off.
Go for it, Phil. Let's hear it.
I don't think there's going to be any surprises in my list. And I think there's a few that maybe we're all going to share. So if I hit some, by all means, jump in. Let me know if it's on your list. And truth be told, I know we've been talking about this for days, but I didn't come up with this list until, 45 seconds before I signed on here. But it was not that difficult to come up with my list. Number one, I'm just going to get it out of the way right now because it's gone. I'm still hurt, but it was always, always, always the thing that I had to do in Magic Kingdom, and that was stroll the boardwalk next to Rivers of America. For years, that was my thing. That was my happy place. That was what I considered to be the most beautiful part of Magic Kingdom. We knew it was coming up. There's no surprise looks on all the hosts here. I'm seeing them all on screen. Everyone's nodding their head. They knew it was coming, but I had to bring it up there. I am so going to miss, especially in the early evening when the sun was going down, strolling down the boardwalk by Rivers of America. It was just so peaceful and so serene. And even when you had the masses of people up on the roadway that went in front of Country Bears and through Frontierland, it was always just a little quieter over on the riverside if you knew how to take the boardwalk, and you could just hang out there for a while. So that is just, as Amy would say, rip Rivers of America and Boardwalk. I'm going to pour one out for it now. That was on my list. It will forever be in my memory. But I do still have some. And I'm sure someone is going to chime in here. I got to do the People Mover. It is
It's on
just
my
an
list.
absolute must do for me. I've said it before. If you could just DoorDash me meals on the People Mover, I would never get off. I would just take that ride around Magic Kingdom all day and be perfectly content in the People Mover cars, going through Space Mountain, going past Buzz Lightyear, seeing the castle in the distance, past the Astro Orbiter. Even when it's warm, you're in the shade, you've got a little breeze coming by. That's just another one of my happy places in Magic Kingdom.
That's a good one.
I have it on my list.
For sure.
Just to go back to what you were saying about the Rivers of America, I have a picture that I took on one of my more recent trips to Magic Kingdom it was, at sunset and like the minutes leading up to when
The golden hour, the golden hour was perfect.
and that picture is just so gorgeous. And while before, I had a little bit of an emotional reaction to it, not as strongly as yours, Phil. I didn't swear off of Magic Kingdom or think of selling my DVC membership because of it. But, I felt a little sad.
Joke all you want. That was my visceral reaction. My visceral reaction was, I am selling everything.
I remember. I really remember that. But I kind of like moved on quickly from it and was like, okay, well, I'm excited. I think that Cars Land is going to be fun and it'll be fun to have a new attraction there. And then I was there during the golden hour, and I was standing on that boardwalk looking over towards, Frontierland, and it just was so beautiful. And it was in that moment that I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter what's over here. It's what this looks like. It is that this is just absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to miss that. And I'm with you, like walking on that boardwalk, whether there's a parade or whether it's crowded on like the concrete path that runs from Liberty Square down to, Frontierland, it didn't matter. I would always opt to walk on that boardwalk because it just felt like, you're right on the water looking over at Tom Sawyer's Island. And as you guys know, I only went over to Tom Sawyer's Island once, but it was just looking over to it. Like that was cool. And you'd see the river, the riverboat go by. It just, I love that little boardwalk. And that is definitely a part of Magic Kingdom that I'm going to miss a lot. So I'm with you on that.
I will forever maintain that it was the only truly serene place in the park and the best ambiance in Magic Kingdom. And that is a bold statement considering how well they theme parts of Magic Kingdom. As far as ambiance, I still think it was the very best. But all right, we're moving on. I'm emotionally, I'm verklempt here. We got to move past Frontierland and Rivers of America. Kathleen, I wonder if this one is on your list. Absolute must do for me has got to be a Dole Whip swirl from Aloha Isle when I'm in Magic Kingdom.
It's not a must, but if I want something sweet, that's where I'm going. And I'm going
you're
to
only
get
partially dead to me.
I'm getting a coconut Dole Whip.
Coconut pineapple swirl for me. The two together are just perfect.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
All right. One more, which I'm sure in modern day Disney, as a nod to political correctness, is just going to get ripped out anytime now. But yearly photos from the time I was little, right through every trip we've ever done, has got to be a photo in the stocks in Liberty Square with the kids, right from them being babies with me holding them up to them now being preteens and a teenager with their head and arms through the stocks. We can literally chart my growth and their growth based on photos in the stocks in Liberty Square at Magic Kingdom.
That's a good one.
All right, finally for me, and this is just the Disney history geek in me. I always say the thing that people miss. Everyone walks in the park, and Emily will tell you that when I come under the train tracks in the Magic Kingdom, it's only a couple of times a year she gets to witness it. She says she actually watches me take a deep breath because I'm finally inside the bubble. I'm in Magic Kingdom. I'm relaxing. People tend to go straight down Main Street. They've got to hit the shops. They've got to get their picture taken in front of the castle, and they're off to the lands. The names in the windows and the stories they tell in the history of the Disney Corporation. Every time I walk down Main Street, I have to take my time and look up at the windows. Dick Nunis and Walt and Roy and the I-4 Land Corporation and all of the stories as you go down there. Each window has a Disney legend and someone that has earned their place. And there's a story behind each and every one of them. And there are books written about it, but you can literally chart the course of Disney and Walt Disney World on the windows of Main Street.
Yeah, that's always nice. I didn't even know anything about that until actually Cindy had mentioned it to me when we were in Disneyland, that about the names in the windows and whatnot. I never knew that.
Disneyland is the ultimate honor, but they have in large part run out of room in Disneyland to put the names up on the window. So I know some people, as their retirement and their Disney legends, they're allowed to ask for certain things. And some that are true legends have asked for their name in Disneyland, and they've been like, we're sorry, we're out of room, but we can give you Walt Disney World, which is kind of like an also ran.
It's a consolation prize.
Still very, very cool. I mean, each and every name up there has got a place. And I know when we went to Disneyland, I made it a point to stand in front of certain windows and doorways of just incredible, incredible Imagineers and Disney legends that I had to get my picture with. Raleigh Crump's doorway. I had to get in front of Raleigh Crump's doorway. The guy's just amazing.
Yeah, the history at Disneyland and even at Disney World, at Magic Kingdom is it's a fun part of if you're not just like a casual park goer, if you're somebody who's like really into the parks, that is a piece of Disney history that just it can like make you feel emotional too, because when you think about how many things have stood the test of time and that they created something that here we are all these years later, just all loving. I mean, talking about it's like one of the most beloved brand in the world, and these people brought it to life, and it's it's bigger than all of us.
Yeah.
You're on mute, Phil.
Oop, got to click on the window. It's really cool too, both directions. So years ago, I was walking through the Contemporary and I had on a Dick Nunis Jim sweatshirt, and a cast member stopped me and she said, "Do you know who Dick Nunis is?" I said, "Of course, I'm wearing the sweatshirt." She said, "I've been here since day one and I knew Dick really, really well." So we got to sit there and she told me stories about the opening of Walt Disney World and what it was like to work with Dick Nunis and how hard he pushed everyone and, really kept everything on track and how he guided the park and everything he did. And then years later, as a matter of fact, it was last May, Mackenzie and I were coming up the dock at Polynesian and a cast member was taking garbage out of the water. And those little grabbers you have where you squeeze the handle and the clamps on the end close together? They had one that was about 12 feet long. And I said, "Oh, you've got a nabby grabber." And he said, "Oh, you know it's called the nabby grabber. Were you a cast member?" I said, "Well, no, but I know a nabby grabber." He said, "Well, only we call them nabby grabbers." I said, "Well, do you know where that comes from?" And he said, "No, we just know we call them nabby grabbers." So I got to school him on Tom Nabby, the original Tom Sawyer at Disneyland, who went over to oversee the monorail and where nabby grabbers came from. There's so much history that if you read and study it can go back. It's just there's stories upon stories and layers. It's just, to me, as someone who goes a lot versus just going from ride to ride to ride, appreciating every little detail and the history behind all of it. That's kind of my little geekdom.
That's nice to hear because I am, like what Amy said, I'm the casual park goer. that really knows nothing about the history. So to hear stuff like that, it's always cool just to kind of hear the little tidbits here and there and learn stuff like that. Because I walk by it all the time, and I don't realize even, what we're walking by and what we're reading until somebody like that just educates me.
3 weeks, me and you, Magic Kingdom Main Street. Let's go through the windows.
Like inch by inch, I'll get like the history, the whole history. But it is true. Like we walk by that stuff every day.
Well, you got the history of Disneyland.
I did get the history of Disneyland, yes. I did. And I'm grateful for it. Yes. There was a lot.
It was.
A lot that I would have walked right by and just never even realized that it's amazing. Like, I don't even think people realize half of what they see there.
You say half. Did she walk you by the half red, half white light? I mean, that's an absolute mainstay on Main Street.
That's one of the things that actually stood out in my mind was, just to stand there and have her point that out. I never, ever, I could have been staring right at that thing and I never would have realized what the history of it was.
All right, well, I brought us totally off topic. Who's up next?
I can go as the casual park goer. I can kind of change gears to a more simplified experience of, just actual rides or attractions or foods or things like that. I'm not going to get complicated. I'm not going to dive into it a lot, but I just like very simple things when I go to Magic Kingdom. Just like with any park, I think, everybody likes what they like. Magic Kingdom, for me, there's one thing especially that sticks out that I have to do, and it's the Sword in the Stone. Every single time. I have been yanking that thing for years with no results.
I was going to ask if you've ever done it. My kids have both been honored with getting the sword up, but very rarely do they let an adult do it.
I have never been worthy. Every time we walk into Magic Kingdom, you can tell. Like every single time we walk in there, I don't care how long that line is. I have to try it every single time, and I swear there will be a day that I can lift that thing out of there. There has to be. Before I die, that's like one of my bucket list goals is to pull that sword up. But it's always fun. I have to do that. I would say my attraction that I have to do is probably the People Mover, but there's another one there that I think a lot of people would not agree with me, and that's the Monsters, Inc. laugh floor. I always want to do that. That's my favorite thing to do because I just think the jokes are like total dad jokes, and I completely relate to the humor, and I'm cracking up every single time I go in there. I never got to be that guy before.
But your jokes get up there.
But my jokes usually get up on the board, so that's like one of my favorite things to do. As far as food and like an area that I would think is one of my favorite areas, it's over at Gaston's. I just enjoy that area over there. It's like its own little nook. And just to be able to go in there, I get a cinnamon roll or I get the gray stuff, the cupcake. LeFou's brew is a must-do every time. I think it's my favorite frozen concoction in all of Magic Kingdom. And then the other thing that I was thinking about was the old shooting arcade at Frontierland. I used to do that every single time.
McKim's Mile High House now, but
yes.
It used to be an absolute, we could not walk by there without the kids demanding. And then for the last couple of years, you didn't even have to put coins in. They just left it wide open. We had to hit it every single time.
Yep, and I would be there you had to drag me away from that thing. I would just stand there and shoot the whole entire time, but I do miss that. But I would say those are probably my favorite. When I think of Magic Kingdom, those are the things that come to mind instantly for me. I'm sure there's more. Oh, actually, there is one more, now that I thought about it. Another attraction that I think people probably would make fun of me for. I love to do the Hall of Presidents. I bug you every single time we go there, and I think I drag her in there once in a blue moon.
She looks thrilled.
She every single time. And God, I love you because you just give in to me every now and then. You're like, yeah, let's go do it. But there's just something about that. I love the history of it. I think it's the coolest thing in the world. And I'm the guy that stands up and claps every time when it's over. So I think those are my top things right there.
I forgot about Monsters, Inc.
I have to do that.
Yeah, you do love that.
That show does not get enough love. And it's always the standard 10-minute wait.
You don't want to do your impression? I mean, you do it very well.
I can't. I just can't.
Don't pressure him, Kathleen. He can't work under pressure.
Wait, how does that guy?
Always watching.
Always watching. How do you not love that?
I do love it.
I mean, pretty much all of that area over there, Tomorrowland. It's stupid.
Scott, how much of your must-do list is based on nostalgia dating back to, when you were like first going to the parks?
Maybe just the arcade. I think that might really
So the
be
rest
it.
of them are things that you've kind of gotten into in recent years, like since going with Kathleen.
Yeah, I can't really say that because my first time in the park was only 2014. So it's not like I'm a 90s guy that's, got the huge history of going to the park since I was a kid. So I would say definitely the arcade, and yeah, that's about it. I think everything else has pretty much been like since we started going. It's kind of like our things that we kind of enjoy doing together, with the exception of Hall of Presidents.
So Kathleen, what about you? And do you have any overlap with Scott? Clearly not Hall of Presidents.
The only overlap I have with him is the People Mover. I do love the People Mover. If I can only ride one ride at Magic Kingdom while I'm there, I'm gonna pick the People Mover.
Can you imagine a Magic Kingdom without a People Mover?
Stop.
Oh, sorry, Disneyland.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say you're really upsetting the Disneyland people. Take it easy there.
So my first thing I wrote, and this is just, my must-dos, and I'm just thinking about every time I go into Magic Kingdom. I obviously have to go into the Emporium. I have to look at all the shopping. So
Why am I not surprised that merch is number one on your list?
so of course I look at all the stores and I see what's new out, and I have to do that. I always get a picture of the castle. It doesn't matter if I was just there last week, I'm still getting a picture of the castle at some point while I'm there. I always have to have a snack when I'm there. It doesn't have to be the same snack, but it's always something. I always like to get a snack. Usually 9 out of 10 times I'm getting a Starbucks. That's probably a must do. I had People Mover on. And the only other, like, ride-wise, probably Pirates.
Oh, yeah. That is one of my must-dos.
And Haunted
Yeah,
Mansion.
I had some rides. Haunted Mansion and Pirates
Yeah.
were right up there for me. They're just, you've got to do them.
It was, Small World for a while, but, Scott will not go on it with me.
Then you
I
came
have
to your
beg
senses.
him. Even though I go into Hall of Presidents with him, he does not go on.
I was
It's a
just
Small
going to
World
say
with
that
me.
is totally not true, because that's usually the trade-off right there.
No.
If you do Hall of Presidents, then I have to go in Small World.
But
You're legally obligated to go with her on Small World.
if I'm being honest here, I have not been on Small World since I've been in Disneyland, and I have no desire to go on Small World at Disney World anymore.
Because it ruined you.
It did.
We told you that before your Disneyland trip. I think Amy and I both said the same thing. Once you do Small World in Disneyland, Walt Disney World just does not measure up. It's not even the same sport.
I mean, I just told him not that long ago when we were there, I'm like, I need to go on Small World. I haven't been on it in a while at Disney World, but I don't know, maybe we'll go on when we go back next, but I don't have to do it anymore.
It is like the Temu version of it, though.
It is.
That's a perfect description.
It is. It's a little disappointing, but I don't really, I don't really have a lot of, my things are just, I think, are basic. So we often go to Magic Kingdom and not even ride a ride. It just depends on how busy the day is.
Well, that's like I was saying, like, I like hearing, like, when Phil and Amy, because they have a lot more history than we do there, but I love hearing about that stuff. because we would be definitely the casual park goer, just because we don't have as much of a history. We don't have that nostalgia, but it's really cool to hear stuff like that. Because I mean, basic is a word for it, but I would just say definitely just a casual park goer that most people, like I said, I don't think they know half of what they're passing when they see it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So-
I've obviously been learning over the years that I've been going. I've only been going since 2020, so.
Like the whole, what was that thing called, Phil? Nabby grab?
Nabby
The
grabber.
Nabby Grabber. I'll give you a whole education. There's a book on it. I will make sure you get the book about Tom Nabby and his contributions. So he was the guy who played the original Tom Sawyer when they opened the Rivers of America in Disneyland. He would bait the hooks. They used to stock the Rivers of America and go for photo ops. And he went on to have I think almost 50-year career with the Disney company. And he went on to oversee the construction of the monorails at Walt Disney World. He then became the head of their logistics and warehouse division in Disneyland Paris. He's got an amazing history. But what they found was people would drop things onto the monorail tracks and they couldn't retrieve them. They'd have to shut down the entire monorail for somebody to climb down. And he went to the janitorial and maintenance staff and said, "Hey, you've got these grabbers. Can you make me some that are 10 or 12 feet long?" And they used those to retrieve things from the monorail track. And they still make them for Walt Disney World and Disneyland. And they called them Nabby Grabbers. And the cast member had no idea what the history of Nabby Grabbers was. He just knew that's what they called them.
Yeah, we see people with them all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Usually it's like, it looks like somebody that's almost like upper management walking around, and they always have them. And I never knew that.
Now, let me back up. If, I just lost my train of thought. Wow. If Splash Mountain was still Splash Mountain there, I would probably try to go on that every single time I walked in the Magic Kingdom because I just loved it.
I can agree with that, because like if Amy's asking me that question about how much of that is actual nostalgia for me, that is the one thing, like one of the first things I think I ever did in Disney World was ride Splash Mountain. So that's, as much as I like Tiana's, I think it's okay what they did. I still have that nostalgia. I miss Splash Mountain for sure. The music, I can still hear, "How do you do?"
Mm-hmm.
I can still hear it. Like it makes you're like, I want to go right now and ride it just because of that.
Splash Mountain was definitely a must do for me when it was there. And I'm sad because while I kind of feel like this iteration of that ride, they kind of just made it like another log flume. And we've talked about it ad nauseum on this podcast about how they kind of just did Tiana dirty by giving her some random story that had nothing to do with her movie. And Splash Mountain had a great story. It was as much as log flumes are fun, when it's hot and people like to do them just for that reason because it's got the big drop. The real appeal of Splash Mountain was the storyline and the music. And it's, that appeal has lessened for me. So Splash Mountain would have absolutely been on my list. For me, Kathleen, are you done with your
Yes, I'm done.
must-do list? Okay. So, for me, if I'm going to go for say a ride, and I'm going to preface this by saying the way that I go to Disney World has really evolved because I go by myself so frequently now, and I'm meeting up with you guys or people from Clubhouse. So I'm often I'll go to Magic Kingdom by myself, or I'm meeting up with people from Clubhouse. When I go with my kids are like must do rope drop to, especially Allie, rope drop to park close. And I mean, their must do is like they basically kill me on every trip because they need to do every single thing, and it's just not how I do the parks anymore. So for me, when I'm with them, it's riding the classic attractions. They love the classic attractions at Magic Kingdom, and while it sounds basic, it really is what the appeal of Magic Kingdom is the classics, experiencing those classics. I think that so much of Disney World is about what's new and exciting. Magic Kingdom is kind of what's really about the nostalgia, and whether you experienced it for the first time 5 years ago or 35 years ago, there's a nostalgia that exists inherently in that park, whether you were there or not, because of what it represents, what it stands for, all of the things that were created so long ago that have just become a part of our like pop culture. So I just think that experiencing those classic Disney things for anybody is going to happen, because it just feels like it's a part of our childhood, whether we went there or not, because we were all aware of it and familiar with it. But for me now, when I go to the parks, there are some things, and this is probably going to get me some hate. I enjoy People Mover. It is not a must do for me. The thing that I prefer to do in the same vein is the Walt Disney World Railroad. If I'm going to sit and just like be on something that's a laid back kind of ride around the park, I would prefer the Walt Disney World Railroad, because it brings you around the whole park. When you get on, you are able to see down Main Street USA, but you're also able to see across the Seven Seas Lagoon. And I think that ride just, that is something that brings me into my feels a little bit, because I remember like we would go on with the kids and we would get them those giant lollipops that were like as big as their face, and they would sit on the railroad licking that thing. It was like the way that we would take a park break like midday is like them being little, licking these things and getting completely sticky as we would ride around the park. But even today, like even though it's both nostalgia, but it's also for me just like a fun, relaxed way to experience the park. And going from there, another thing that it has become a really enjoyable part of my trips when I'm by myself or even with others is, and Phil, I know that you had a bad experience there, but sitting on that outside porch area of Tony's Town Square, and it's really about sitting outside for me. It's the experience is very different when I'm sitting inside the restaurant versus sitting outside. And so I try to book that first reservation to increase my chances of being able to sit out there. But sitting out there and just getting, the garlic bread or having like a glass of red wine or even just a Diet Coke and sitting there, being able to hear the Dapper Dans in the distance, see the people walk by, watch the cast members with all of the balloons. Like there's something that is so quintessentially Disney World in that spot that just makes me feel, it just like fills my bucket. Like I just feel so happy sitting there doing that, because it allows you to observe at a distance while still feeling like you're in it, which I absolutely love. So that has become something that is a must do for me. And I mean, riding Pirates, whether I'm with my kids and rope dropping or there by myself, like whenever I go to Magic Kingdom, it's like, I feel like, well, at least I have to ride at least one ride. I'm in the park. I should be riding a ride, and that ride will almost always be Pirates for me. I mean, if it's a super long wait, maybe I'll skip it, but it's typically doesn't have too bad of a wait. And it's just, again, for me, it is so nostalgic and so quintessentially Disney, walking through that queue, sitting on the boat, riding through that ride, and just, and because it like takes, I appreciate attractions that aren't over in less than 2 minutes. When you can sit on something and enjoy it for an extended period of time, it just enhances the experience, because it's not something, it doesn't feel like it's an attraction that was built just to give you a thrill and get you off and move you on, like kind of like Tron. It feels like it was something that was built with the intention of entertaining you, giving you a way to escape. And that's how I feel, about Magic Kingdom is I seek out the things that allow me to feel like I'm able to kind of escape a little bit into a fantasy world, but also kind of escape the crowds. I mean, Magic Kingdom is always so crowded. So anything that I can do where I feel like I'm not just shoulder to shoulder with people all the time. And which is why I do think that, that area in Frontierland over Rivers of America, that was a place that I really enjoyed because it felt like a little bit of a respite, even though you were like literally parallel to a very crowded path. It was like you just stepped off into this hidden path that made you feel like you were in a different world, experiencing something peaceful and beautiful. And so, I really love that. And I feel like Magic Kingdom is kind of the one park where every time I go, my experience is different just because there's so much to do. And you can spend a whole day there and from rope drop to park close and be occupying every single minute of your day. And you can go in and you can just choose to do a couple of things. But I mean, one of the things, like, I feel like I would be remiss if not mentioning it, is when I don't really go to Magic Kingdom all that often when I go anymore, but we always go during Clubhouse weekend, and we do that photo in front of the castle, and that for me has become a must do. It's kind of like this really perfect culmination to a very fun weekend where we can say our goodbyes. We always get a great picture in front of that castle, and it just feels like the perfect place to end the weekend. And then we kind of all break off from there. This year we all went to Beacon Barrel. The year before, the three of us went to, I think we went to Tony's, right?
We did.
And and maybe Sean and Jennifer were with us. I don't
think
remember.
they were.
And so that has become a part of my Magic Kingdom experience that I really look forward to every year because it gets me into that park and it gets me there with people that I've just had a great weekend with. So I think that's my final must do. And ultimately, I think that for me, it's all about the people I'm with. Like, I just like going to the parks with people that I enjoy being with. Like, I had never been on Astro Orbiter, and I went on with Phil, and so that's not
Core
which was
memory unlocked.
Yeah, that's like a core memory. And while it's not something that I do every time, it's a memory that I'll always like think of and laugh about because it was hilarious and fun. And so it's like, for me, the must do's really at Magic Kingdom, it's like I have to be there with people and enjoying it because it's probably the park that I can't go in and experience by myself and enjoy it as much as I would as if I was with other people. Like, I can really enjoy Animal Kingdom or Epcot by myself, but Magic Kingdom, it's different. Like, I feel like my experience there really depends on the people I'm with. So, like, I guess a must do for me is like going to Magic Kingdom with people who I can have fun with and make memories with.
Now, you say that the last time I happened to be down there and had like one evening, family wasn't with me. I was there on business and I walked into Magic Kingdom and took one trip around Magic Kingdom on the train, felt horribly guilty, bought Emily a Dooney and Bork, and left Magic Kingdom. But I can go to any of the other parks and not have that like daddy nostalgia, daddy guilt issue. Magic Kingdom is the only one I walk in and I'm like, it's just not the same. And I walk back out.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, that wrap up this one.
Yeah.
No.
No?
Scott's always got a PS.
I do. It's stupid, but if you guys are at TTC, are you team monorail or team ferry boat to get to Magic Kingdom?
I'm team stay at a Seven Seas Lagoon Resort and not take either of those.
Cheater.
If I'm at the TTC, I prefer the ferry.
I prefer the ferry, but we always take the monorail.
Okay, I just had to ask because I felt like that was that might be others like must do's if they're at TTC, or do they have to take the ferry? Do they have to take the monorail? But I am team monorail for sure.
This might seem like an obvious one, but if you're staying at Bay Lake, are you walking or are you taking the monorail?
I'm walking.
I am walking.
Depends on my mood and the lines.
Same for me, but there's something for me about staying and it's probably because I stayed at the Contemporary the first time I ever went to Disney, and I thought it was so cool that the monorail went through the hotel. There's something about being able to take the monorail from the Contemporary to Magic Kingdom that it's part of the appeal for me. So if it's not, if I'm not in a big hurry, I will take the monorail. And if it's, and if it's super hot, or I will definitely take the monorail. But I don't know, there's something about the experience of the monorail that just feels like it goes hand in hand with the Contemporary. So
It's the smell.
yeah. You go from that very distinct smell of the Grand Canyon Concourse into the very distinct smell of the monorail. It's like an assault on your
Very different, yet both very
olfactory nerve.
distinct.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you as always for playing along. If you get to head over to Apple Podcasts, give us a like, a 5-star review. We would appreciate it, Amy.
And if you don't already belong to our Facebook group, head over there. It's DVC Clubhouse. You can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And until next time, we'll DVC you real soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
And so our journey comes to an end.
Oh, no, please, can't we go back to page 1 and do it all over again?
Started this thing together, and that's how we'll finish it.
Because that, my friends, is where the magic lives.
Happily ever